Well, it looks like someone is intent on sticking around for the second half, literally. Wolfie coming to the young lady's rescue. Now then, Warrington ahead by just a 6-point margin. Hull very much in the hunt here as Ewan Dowes takes the ball up on the first tackle of this second half. 20 points to 14, the Wolves are ahead. Danny Horton is the dummy half, and that ball is driven in again by Matty Dale.
I'll be quite happy with the fact that they're only 6 points adrift, mainly due to the fact that Warrington had most of that possession and territorial advantage. So Peter Sharp knows that a quick try would just maybe upset the rhythm of Warrington, who... Oh, was that 2-on-1?
No, Graham Horn, I think, just lost the ball. No, he didn't. The referee has got a call from his touch judge far side, and it was 2-on-1. It's a Hull penalty.
Yeah, there was certainly quite a few hanging on. Monahan had a hold of him. Well, did he lose it or not? It's was it helped on its way either way?
Well, there was a hand from the back, wasn't there, that knocked it forward, but we're in the big question mark zone there, aren't we? Whether he was attacking the ball or just trying to affect the tackle, the Warrington defender. Anyway, the view of the touch judge and referee is that he was attacking the ball, and 2-on-1. That's why the penalty's given. That's why Hull are midway inside the Warrington half here.
Good to see, though, Eddie, that we've got the officials actually working as a unit.
Oh, Berrigan, you don't expect that from a player of that class and quality.
He was stepping before he had the ball. See, it was there coming back on off his left foot. A classy player, but we wonder when Peter Sharp throughout this season will really throw him into the deep end and take the prominent role as a hooker.
Well, probably, Steve-o, when all the casualties are available.
Do you know, I've got to defend Tommy Lee there, because the new rule state the ball is out of the scrum when it comes from behind the second row's feet. He tried to get quickly on there and on that ball and has been penalised. Perhaps unfairly so, Eddie.
Maybe so. New and different interpretation of the rule at the scrum this year. Let's go quickly down to Bill Arthur on the side.
Eddie, it's fair to say that Paul Cullen was not impressed with the way his side ended that first half. There were some pretty stern words spoken in that Wolves dressing room. Very sloppy finish to the first half. Too many penalties conceded. Not a lot of complaints about the penalties, about Ashley Klein's interpretation. More about the way his side just took their eye off the ball and allowed Hull back into the game. Peter Sharp pleased with the way his side is stuck in there, but feeling that they can do better.
They're having to defend here. There's the pass to Chris Bridge, got away from one. There were two waiting as reinforcements for Hull. Matt King is the dummy half. Monaghan and Morley again, driving it in, second time this set.
Switch to the blinds on. King streaming for it.
And they go the other way with Monaghan. Monaghan drops the shoulder, Michael Monaghan! Good Hull defence again, balls come free. It's Breers, it's wide to Chris Hicks. Great Hull defence. Has he got that ball down?
I think he has. Wonderful effort. It looked as though he got smothered and then just lifted the arm onto the whitewash. He's pretty confident, so am I.
That's Chris Hicks. Scored his second try.
I think so.
Or is it a double movement? Or was he dragged over the line by the Hull defender?
Reaches out there. Scrubs over, that's try.
Washbrook in particular was asking the referee to ask the video referee to look for something underneath their own posts as well. I'm not exactly sure what that was all about.
There might have been a bit of pushing, trying to keep a defender out. I think this is a try. It's moving forward all the time. The momentum takes it over onto the whitewash, and as far as I'm concerned, this will be TRY up on the big screen. Steve Ganson being called upon again. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the apex of the football.
I think Hull are asking how this ball came out as well. Underneath their own posts.
Monaghan went very close indeed. Yeah, he was deliberately pushed back by Monaghan. That was
Has his arm touched the ground though? Is the tackle completed?
Is he moving?
He knows it's the last tackle, and that's why he's desperate to keep the ball alive, but you could say that that tackle had been completed. Massive call here now for the video ref.
Certainly is. Has it moved away before?
Technically, that's a tackle. I think that should be a turnover, Eddie, in my opinion.
Well, it's certainly 50-50. I'll go against you, Phil. I'm going to go for a try.
Well, Steve Ganson is the man whose opinion counts. What does he say? It's denied. It's denied because that was a tackle completed, and Monaghan released the ball after the tackle was completed. But Paul Cullen is confused.
I'm a little bit confused as well, but either way, that was going to be a tough call for either team, and that was a real 50-50, and sometimes you're going to get a... I'm not too sure which way's right here, because he is still moving, Monaghan, there. I know he touched the ground, but his body is still moving, so technically I think it's play on.
Yeah, but...
Well, he was in the throes of trying to get the ball back, wasn't he, as the elbow hits the deck. But the elbow hit the deck with ball in hand.
We could argue about this all day. I think we better move on.
Well, we will, don't worry. It now depends, like Leeds last week, when a couple of decisions went against them, Phil, they responded immediately against Hull Kingston Rovers. That decision's gone against Warrington. How will they respond here?
Well, they're reacting the right way in defence at the moment. They're working up quickly, condensing the space here, but good footwork there from Graham Horn. It's always tough, the first few yards to get away from your try line are the hardest ones to carry it forward. Once you get over that 20-metre line, I think psychologically it becomes that easier to carry.
The kick here has to be good. Thomas Lee under pressure from Monaghan. It goes straight down the throat of Kevin Penny. Good chase.
Pretty solid tackle as well. They've come up with some big hits of the black and whites tonight. Absolutely decimated this whole side. 7 of their top players not out on the paddock tonight. It's been a good showing.
It has, and how good is that for the future as far as the black and white are concerned? Johnson felt that.
Danny Tickle didn't miss. He'll have a ticking off, Will Tickle. Surely he'll call him out.
Wants a word, yes.
He's got to. There's a blatant swing.
Tickle ticked off. Did you mean to say that?
Come here.
There's proof.
This is a second tackle by this player for a high touch shot. Any more, I'm going to have to look at taking further action, okay? So let's come down. Get him down.
He's on a warning, Danny Tickle. Thought for a moment the referee might have placed that on report when he called the captain to him. Warrington then restart with Breers to Mark Gleeson. Now it's Paul Parker. Mark Gleeson again from dummy half, finds Breers. Breers gives it to Martin Gleeson. Mark Gleeson once again. Here's Parker. Came back on the inside, Parker.
Nice step.
Was from the big fellow. Broke his cheekbone twice last year. Here is Michael Monaghan. Good ball to Westwood. Monaghan with the money ball again. And Westwood hitting it at pace and getting over the line for the try. That's his 60th try for Warrington, for Ben Westwood. Try here against Hull in 2005, 2006, and now 2008.
They're not going to be denied again. Monaghan just threw the dummy on the inside, made the defence hesitate, and then give a beautiful pass to Westwood. Easy way to the line. Nothing was going to stop him. Had a good season last year, this fella. Settled into the forward battle exceptionally well. That's the way to do it. He's happy about it too. But what an impact the former Manly halfback Michael Monaghan is having on this game. We knew it was going to be a problem in regards to whether Lee Breers would perhaps take a backward step and allow Michael Monaghan to take control. I think they've done that very well so far, Terry.
Yeah, I think we highlighted Michael Monaghan earlier in the first half, and he certainly had a hand in nearly every try. I think the key there, but was, the ball was a nice ball, but there was a lot of work to do for Ben Westwood to score, and he got to the line. Great effort from Ben.
Last time we saw Ben Westwood on this ground was against Huddersfield last season in August, and he scored a hat-trick, but he ended up on the losing side.
You know, in midweek, England got a new manager at soccer, and the football world spoke about player movement, didn't they, off the ball? I think the same thing applies to rugby league, and in fact, one of the beauties that Breers and Monaghan will have at Warrington is the number of players who will move off the ball to give them options in attack. The principles are the same in rugby as they are in football. You need people to put themselves into good position to take possession.
Well, Monaghan has certainly made a mark here already, ever present at Manly for each of the last 2 years. And I said at the start of the programme tonight when talking to Terry Mattison, the key is keeping your players fit and healthy. And if Monaghan can go through this year ever present for Warrington, well, Paul Cullen will be absolutely delighted.
He's a tough cookie, little doubt about that. But, you know, there are touches from time to time where I think it's Alan Langer out there. He's certainly got that class, hasn't he?
He was a hooker, though, wasn't he, last year for Manly? I'm right, aren't I saying that?
Well, a hooker these days, Eddie, is just an extra half-back.
Kevin's on.
Breers with the kick over the top. Nobody fancied it, and the ball will go dead. And Terry Mattison knows a little bit about Michael Monaghan, I think. Weren't you with him 3 years ago at Canberra Raiders, Terry?
Yeah, I spent a couple of years with Mick, and certainly he's gone to hooker when he was with me in Laringa for a couple of years, but he's always been a halfback, and I think he's showing his quality now. He's only going to get better.
Steve-O mentioned the name before, or one of you did anyway, Nathan Wood. Was it Phil, I think? He's very much in the Nat Wood mould, isn't he?
All due respect to Nathan Wood, he's a very good player, but I think Michael Monaghan's in a different class.
I said mould, not class, but I know what you mean. Dab over the top this time by the black and whites, and they're chasing it, and Bridge, oh, he's got work to do here, Chris Bridge. He tries his best, but that's a wonderful chase. Led by Tickle, Craig Hall was in there as well. They've not given this up, the men from the KC Stadium.
Full credit to them as well. Not once during this game has the head's gone down in the black and white jersey tonight. They put the fullback under a lot of pressure. He tried his damnedest, but when you get the numbers there, good stuff. Todd Byrne leading the way. Tickle just finished him off.
Oh, that's taking an eternity to be picked up. Eventually they do on that far side by Washbrook. Here they come again, and that's Peter Cusack. Real battle we expected tonight between Cusack and Adrian Morley. They were soulmates together at the Sydney Roosters in the NRL. Horton again. Good ball from Washbrook, that, and well watched by Monaghan. Well, he's been good in attack and he's been solid in defence. Here's Cusack once more. Just dropped the shoulder, trying to fool the Warrington defenders. Gleeson and Parker. Horton, back it comes to Washbrook. Here is Thomas Lee, good ball. Ball hits the deck. Willie Manu picks it up, it's the last tackle, keeps it alive. Up in the air to Lee, keeps it going again to Motu Tony. Motu Tony with a little grubber to the in-goal area. Picked up by Chris Bridge. And Bridge doing really well under pressure from Lee.
Certainly did. I've been impressed with his positional play. Okay. Did come up with one error. Oh, that looked at a high shot yet again from Tickle. He's got to be very careful. Already being warned by the official Ashley Klein. Well, if there's any rewards for effort, you've got to certainly give something to Hull tonight. They're battled throughout.
It's Vinnie Anderson on the last tackle for Warrington. He will play the ball here to Mark Gleeson.
Chip over the top.
Back to Monaghan. Angled kick, separating winger and full-back. Motu Tony collects it. Good chase from Warrington, led by Mark Gleeson. 52 minutes or thereabouts. Just a reminder that in 3 weeks' time, the World Club Challenge takes place. 0844 477 7113 is the Rugby League's information line. They'll be open for business, well, first thing Monday morning, if not tomorrow. And Leeds against Melbourne is the match. It's 3 weeks tonight. We'll be at Elland Road for that clash to see which club rules the world. And as I said earlier, what a boost it would be to the Super League if in World Cup year Leeds could win that.
I think we're entering a very important part of the game here. There's 27.5 minutes to go. Hull look very tired. They walk back after that kick downfield. They need some energy here, and hopefully Berrigan may go into hooker very shortly.
That's an excellent kick again from Washbrook. He has done well, hasn't he? When the boot has been needed tonight.
Kept his cool as well.
No Adam Dykes, of course. No Richard Horn in those departments. 6 and 7 for Hull tonight. Washbrook is a quality youngster.
He certainly is. It's been a tremendous effort from them, and he realises that, you know, Peter Sharp will be getting the message out to them all the time. Looks like Briscoe's going to make an appearance, but he'll be just saying to them, look, there's still a little bit of you know, a weakness in this Warrington defence, especially. Maybe they should start attacking Kevin Penny. We saw in the first half he got caught out on a couple of occasions. Maybe they should force it towards that right-hand side.
Adrian Morley's been a willing worker tonight for Warrington so far. Here is Paul Johnson. Good tackle, low down that. Terrific challenge that was. Mark Gleeson again. Oh, they're offside, Hull.
Good thinking by Gleeson. Realised they were very slow to get back into that 10-metre mark.
And remember, this year the players have all got to be behind the referee's front foot. Every foot has got to be behind the referee. They've got to be in a dead straight line. There's none of this 1 foot on the line and in line with the referee and 1 foot forward. They've all got to be behind him.
It's a great rule as well. Now then, what can they produce? It's taken a while for Wolves to get into the swing of things, and again a great solid run by Morley. It's been like a battering ram tonight.
It's Breers attacking the line, and he finds Martin Gleeson, and under pressure from Berrigan he manages to hang on. Here's Hicks. Oh, there's a foot in there, the ruck, but the referee says play on. Mark Gleeson now. Down he goes.
Stand fourth.
That's the fourth. There's Pickersgill. Pickersgill to Monaghan. Monaghan. Oh, what a pass!
Oh, he shouldn't have been doing that.
I think that's a penalty to Hull.
Should be. double movement.
It could have been a triple movement, Steve.
And I think he realises as well. It was a beautiful, well-timed pass as well. And I'm afraid that's where you should have stopped, Mr. Westwood. And he knows it too. Penalty to Hull.
Steve Ganson will want to see if he's actually is held, and he is.
Yeah, of course he is. It was nearly a carbon copy of the way that Westwood scored the try a few moments earlier.
He almost put that down then, didn't he, Westwood, with an apology.
Well, so often a three-quarter, this will be confirmation of no try.
Well, was it a double, Terry, or was it a triple movement, that? A triple Salco?
All we know it wasn't a try. That's an easy one. I bet you the video refs wish they had those ones all the time.
You don't fancy taking up the whistle or taking up the glasses and having a look at the screen for a video referee in future then, no? Not interested?
No, I think they're doing a good job.
Very diplomatic from the Castleford coach. Down to the sideline, Bill.
Another problem for Hull FC. Gareth Carvel trotted off a short time ago, went straight to the dressing room. I saw him get a bang on the thigh a few minutes ago, and I think Carvel's in there having treatment at the moment. They don't need another injury. Meanwhile, 17-year-old Tom Briscoe is out there for his debut tonight, fresh from his A-level studies. He's replaced Matty Dale.
Born in 1990, Tom Briscoe, and Steve-O was, well, almost a young man.
What about that for a first assignment for Tom Briscoe? He's up against Matt King. Welcome to Super League.
Indeed, he's Super League for the first time.
I know it's mainly brought about by the injuries that this young fella has had the opportunity, but you know, with the fear now of no relegation, coaches like yourself can blood these young kids to give them the opportunity, something we haven't seen for so long.
No, I'm sure they wouldn't want to be doing this in the first game, Hull, and you know, they're decimated with injuries, but we have got some good young talent in this country, and I think it's going to be showcased this year.
And we will see Terry's young talent tomorrow, and I'm thinking about Joe Westerman, for instance, Castleford against Catalan, Saturday at 6, Sky Sports 2 and HD2. And talking of Joe Westerman, he was in the same amateur club as young Tom Briscoe, the Featherstone Lions. And Tony Ray is back, by the way, live on Sunday night Sky Sports News, 9:30. He'll be here for the rest of the season on Sunday nights. And Boots and All Online back from Monday night. There's the email address to get online and catch Boots and All Online. And don't forget that Milado's back on Sky Sports News every Thursday at 2:45. Steve-O is live previewing the weekend action. There's been a little bit of a late challenge here that's left a whole man on the deck.
It's a high shot.
It was a high shot by Pickersgill.
He got himself in a good position to put a good shot with his shoulder, and that's a bad one.
I think the fact that he's actually looking at the ground, isn't he, when he throws his arm, so he's never really going to be able to see where he's hitting because his head is already tilted down. And
I think he had
Tony would have liked to keep his eyes on the job.
I think he had a bit of an idea there, Phil. It was a swinger.
I think this one's going to go on report somehow.
Well, it should.
Be very careful. He's fallen down, you make contact with him. I'm going to put on report and let him have a look at it. Very careful, Steve.
It was a real haymaker. It came from somewhere around his waist, didn't it? I think he's escaped because it looked to the touch judge and the referee as though Motu Tony he's just ducking down. Caught him fair and square on the nose.
It's a really critical point in the game, wasn't it? 12-point gap, and of course Warrington, I think, with a further try, go on to win this game. They're a little bit nervous and anxious. They want to hang on in there. They know they don't have to force the game, but they are keen to score and just take the pressure out of it.
That's right. They've had plenty of opportunities. The Ben Westwood try, the other one with Chris Hicks, the disallowed try. The longer holes stay in this game, I think they're a chance.
Well, Adrian Morley has gone off for a well-earned rest, the skipper, and replaced by Paul Rauhihi.
Interesting to see how Morley played this game. It was, shall we say, he was extremely placid.
I remember what happened to him last year on the first night. He got that awful bang in the face.
Yeah, but not only that, Eddie, I think the responsibility of taking the captaincy. Oh, that's forward.
Just a touch. Motu Tony probably still, his eyes are still watering from that clatter he got from Steve Pickersgill.
He tried his damnedest to turn it into momentum, but I'm afraid he couldn't get away with it. Yeah, he got a fair old bang on the nose.
Really, Danny?
Hasn't done his brain box any good.
2 hands. Out.
Scrum on halfway then, Warrington's head and feed. Breers. It was risky. Martin Gleeson turned it into a very good pass. They were sniffing the interception then. Hull not standing square again. Thomas Lee.
This will be pushed into the corner, and perhaps we will see one drive to the sticks and then the link, which has proved so effective. Westwood's out wide. So is Vinnie Anderson. Will they utilise the dummy runner? There's the settler.
One. Your move.
Mark Gleeson. Here's Breers.
Play on.
And Gleeson, quick hands, but a knock on, says the referee.
Going forward as well.
Chance goes a-begging.
He won't be happy, Paul Cullen, because they're just trying to force it at a time when they've got a commanding lead. And this is where this Warrington side have to learn, if they are going to be contenders this season, they've got to make sure that there are times when you're going to just slow it down and grind it out and make sure you get several sets of possession, Phil.
Steve, I don't know if there's ever been a team before who didn't make the playoffs one year and had such expectations from the fans for the following year. I mean, this side finished 7th. It would be a remarkable effort if they did make it high up into the, well, 3rd or 4th spot would be a realistic aim for them this year. But it seems as though the supporters here tonight almost expecting a grand final performance in round 1.
Yeah, but that's, I suppose, because of the likes of Hicks and King and Monaghan have all been brought in here, and Louis Anderson. Under Paul Cullen, they finished 6th, 8th, 4th, 6th and 7th. This is the first year of a new 2-year deal for the Warrington coach. And it really is the year that Warrington, with this star-studded lineup,
Now stand up, don't look
they might just shake the tag of being the underachievers of Super League.
Well, to be fair,
But we'll see. There's 26 more rounds to go after this.
To be fair, both the players and Paul Cullen were quite happy with certain aspects of their play.
Good ball, that from Berrigan. So dangerous when Berrigan gets hands on the ball, and here he is again. Berrigan attacking the line. And Motu Tony held up just short, but it's a penalty to Hull. They're offside, Warrington, to that play the ball. Big set of 6 here.
Not done yet, the black and whites.
They are not. Johnson low down. 22 penalties in the game. Berrigan to Cusack. This is a stern examination of this Warrington defence. Horton gets the ball wide to Washbrook. Washbrook to Motu Tony. Motu Tony gets it out wide. And that's young Briscoe.
2 feet, come on, Ben, 2 feet.
Good quick play of the ball, a little scampering run. And Todd Byrne is held up just short of the line. Briscoe again. Back he comes. Cusack holds it off to Horton.
You know the most amazing thing about this game, Eddie? The lack of kicks to the corner. We normally see dozens.
Washbrook, Motu Tony. Tony still. Pops it back to Danny Tickle. And Tickle. They get the penalty, Warrington, for obstruction. Running behind the man, and Breers leads the applause and the celebration for the Warrington defence. Although I must say, referee's whistle came timely for them. There's the obstruction.
Just ran across it, didn't it? Furious there is Danny Tickle, not surprisingly, but maybe it's just me, but Eddie, the lack of kicking into the corner, we were inundated with it last season and the season before that. It looks as though teams this year have decided to come and play open football.
23 penalties in the match here tonight, but more injury problems and woes for Hull, Bill.
Oh, it sounds like it, Eddie, because Gareth Carvell, who came off a short time ago, went to the dressing room, has appeared with his right knee heavily strapped. Now, there's no indication yet as to what the problem is, but he looks very disconsolate, and there is a bit of gloom on the Hull bench as well. They've got enough problems as it is, and you know, before the game, Peter Sharp was saying that every season there seems to be one side that sails through unscathed without picking up any injuries, and there's somebody else who cops the lot, and at the moment it looks like Hull.
Yeah, 26.
Well, Peter Sharp and Richard Agar, they certainly have problems at the start of this season, don't they? They will hope that all their injuries come at once at the start, and then they stay fairly clear during the course of the campaign. But this is respect, isn't it? Because it looks like Lee Breers is preparing to take the kick at goal here, just to edge Warrington 14 points ahead, which means, of course, that Hull would have to score 3 times.
I think that's a good ploy as well, because I mentioned that if Warrington have got to be a good test this season, they've got to learn to be able to just calm things down, and this is one way of doing it, Terry.
I think they've had 3 or 4 opportunities to score and put points on the board, and they haven't done that. So they're down here. I think he's missed it, so they're not going to get it again. I think the last set for Hull really showed how many players they have injured. They just did not know where they were going. It's a credit to them that they're this close.
Just wait for the touches to get back. You're right, clear,
yes, this performance from this Hull side will give them a lot of hope, but and will certainly give a lot of the youngsters experience for the battles that lie ahead. But Peter Sharp does not want to run out of any more senior players, does he?
They're still in this game, Eddie. They are still in this game. The fact that Breers couldn't handle that one, they've got possession now with Berrigan over the halfway line. They're going to get a penalty, 1 try, and I'll tell you what, the Hull players will come to life. They'll find some energy then.
That's a massive play by Berrigan, a big hit and on the ball. He's a big match player.
Yes, he's a legend, isn't he, Sean Berrigan? Man of the match for Brisbane in the 2006 Grand Final against the Melbourne Storm. So he's got all the pedigree.
Well, in the first half showing, I thought Warrington had got rid of the yo-yo, but it appears to be just bulging out of the pocket there. Surely they're not going to give it away. How many times have they done it in the past?
This is Cusack. Here's Horton. Horton pops the ball up. This is Motu Tony, straight at John Clark. John Clark goes down, gets the tackle in on Motutoni. Down he goes. Horton goes the other way. Berrigan gives it some width. And this is the youngster Briscoe. Matt King and company after him. Monaghan low down. And Anderson up top also. Good little run here. Great defence from Warrington. Berrigan was looking for the four. It's Washbrook. Washbrook dabs the ball to the in-goal area off the post. Bridge does well, and the posts are wobbling. And so Warrington.
How lucky was that? It was a beautifully placed ball, and Bridge got it on the rebound, didn't know much about it, put his head to the side of the post, and then it just flopped into his hands. Oh, wonderful defence yet again.
3 tackles gone for Warrington, only 6 metres made forward, not much more ground forward either on that. The 4th tackle. Wonderful defence here from Hull. They're getting the energy from somewhere, and Gleeson's got nowhere to go. Last tackle, 12 metres made forward for Warrington. Kick has to be good. Monaghan under pressure, gets it away, only just. It bounces in the Hull half of the field.
You saw the quality there from Michael Monaghan, put under a lot of pressure. It was a beautiful step that just gave him half the break. Tony nearly through.
Halted on halfway. This is Danny Williams. They think that they've got a chance here, Hull. Lost that ball.
He's lost it, yeah.
That was a fatal error by Danny Williams.
Certainly was. Just could not control it. At a time where the clock is ticking away, they realised they were in a good position. He just tried to get up very quickly and lost control. Paul Johnson, did he have a hand in there? Hard to see. Not impressed at all is Williams.
Matt King for Warrington. Good defence again from Washbrook.
They've done a good job on King, you know. They really have given it to him and they've battered him.
Yes, he knows that Super League is no picnic. Rauhihi goes down on the end of tackle number 3.
They seem to have lost a lot of spark in the forwards since Adrian Morley has left the field.
That's Steve Pickersgill on report tonight. Mark Gleeson. A run from dummy half. There is Morley. No sign of him returning yet.
1-pointer yet, perhaps.
Well, back it goes to Breers. Charge down.
What
a mess. Now, what will the referee do here? The first knock-on, I think, was by Warrington, wasn't it?
Yep. It was a great charge down. Didn't give himself enough room, really.
Ewan Dowes it was with the charge down.
Great work by the second rower.
Eddie Hull on the edge of the cliff here, aren't they? Literally by their fingertips hanging on in this match. But whilst ever that gap remains at 12 points, they have hold. There's 10 minutes and a half to go. That's plenty time to score 2 tries if they can just get the first one. But I think they'd probably need to get closer to the line.
They've still got plenty of time. There's 11 minutes to go. I feel Warrington have closed shop, and they've closed shop too early, and it might bite them.
And remember, the Leeds Rhinos came very late to win it last week against Hull Kingston Rovers on Saturday. Don't forget the new programme via the red button. After the match here, you have to press the red button, follow the menu and find us, and we will be there talking Rugby League and Super League for half an hour. Just a couple of minutes after we have finished the game here, we'll be back with you on the red button on your handsets. Grapple tackle against Warrington, penalty to Hull. They're grinding their way back into this match, aren't they?
They certainly are, and Pity Sharp will be very pleased with the effort. Silly play by Anderson there. Left arm right underneath the chin, right in front of the official.
King with the drive, you get the feeling this is Hull's big chance. Oof! Dowes drove it in, and Warrington stood their ground. Chance here for Washbrook. Oh, good defence, slow down. It was Martin Gleeson to the rescue then for Warrington. This is Chris Hicks. Ball to the deck by Washbrook.
I'm not so sure that Chris Hicks was happy with that pass. He got the possession, really should have gone to ground. They're still swarming.
9 minutes to go. 12 points the difference. Matt King for Warrington. Well, they have run their blood to water, Hull. Looked as though they might have been swamped in that first half. But boy, they're giving Warrington a torrid evening.
And not surprisingly, Paul Cullen has brought back Adrian Morley into the fray just to make sure that they finish them off. That's a good move by the coach.
John
Not the
Clark's
best
kick was not the best. Young Tom Briscoe waits at dummy half. Good work from Matt King. Morley on Matutoni. It's Warrington's turn to turn the screw in defence.
You talk about courage, Eddie. This has been a tremendous game. I mean, both sides have shown some real good class, some very solid defence. But you'd have to say that the way that Hull have really rolled up their sleeves and got into this, against all the odds, it's been a tremendous effort.
Last tackle here for Hull. Last tackle here for Hull. They're keeping it alive. Tickle with the kick. It's a high hanger. Whoops! It went backwards, I think, is referee Ashley Klein's version.
It did.
And he gets out of jail, Chris Bridge. Surprised, actually, that Hull haven't tried that tactic more. You mentioned about the kicks to the corner. What about the bomb on the inexperienced full-back?
That's what I'm saying. And also, why didn't they give the pressure onto Kevin Penny? They missed the opportunity, but it appears that they were quite happy just to use the forwards, try to get through. They've got through some great work, and that's
Morley is
good leadership.
A great game as the new skipper.
Good, solid leadership.
Matt King breaks the tackle. They come back though, the cover. Oh, that's so annoying. Thomas Lee had done all the hard work and then he just had a second effort.
He's probably basking in the glory of getting the big fella down in the first place, but he'll learn. They've got to start somewhere. He'll never ever forget this game, and let's hope that he can continue on and be yet another
Rauhihi for Warrington
to show up on the big time.
Trying to spin his way out of trouble then. Here is Morley. Ever willing tonight, Adrian Morley.
Keep your eye on Monaghan. He'll be orchestrating this surely.
It's with Monaghan now. It goes wide to Louis Anderson. Chris Bridge from dummy half. Bridge gives it to Rauhihi. Rauhihi offloads to Bridge. And Bridge will get in for the second try of the night for him. And the try that surely will sink the whole challenge.
Was there a bit of a controversial forward pass there? The blood streamed down the try scorer's face. Anderson got the hands free. Was there any momentum forward? We'll see here. 50-50. Good positioning there by Klein. And that'll wrap it up. Squeezed it out. And no doubt in the mind of Ashley Klein, the official tonight, who I must say, like last week as well, has controlled this game. Exceptional. And that augurs well for the season. It's been a fast-flowing contest.
It has, but you know, there's been 27 penalties tonight. And last year there was a right furore about Ashley Klein on the first night when he blew for all those penalties for the new interpretation of the obstruction rule. And guess how many penalties he blew then?
Probably
27,
the same.
yeah.
But it's the penalties that you pick on, and both sides have said, yeah, you've got me, you've caught me. They've gone on with it.
Well, I think I'm right in saying, Terry, that coaches and players happy enough to take the penalty if the penalty is warranted, and the referee should blow.
I think the majority of the penalties tonight have been warranted, and a little bit of the timing was out tonight, but I think it's been a great effort from both sides. Certainly the second half, the finesse wasn't there, but if we look back to the first half, some great tries.
And fantastic tries, and, well, with such a spirited performance from Hull, you know, Warrington will be happy to get out of this one. Boots and all is with you on Wednesday at 6 on Sky Sports 1, and do join us on Wednesday because we're going to have some news for you about a special Man of the Match award that we're going to be presenting week in, week out here on Sky Sports for the remainder of the season. It's a new award, and join us for news of that on Wednesday on Boots and All. 6 o'clock Sky Sports 1. 3.5 minutes to go here. Warrington off to the winning start that they had last year. And if you remember last year, Chris Bridge came off after a couple of minutes with a hamstring injury, and Adrian Morley, of course, was badly damaged in the face. It doesn't look so far, and I don't want to tempt anything here, tempt Providence for Paul Cullen and Warrington. Doesn't look at the moment as though there are any major injury concerns. But not the same for Hull FC. Tony.
You'll be happy the way that they've produced some very solid football with ball in hand, especially in the three-quarter line. I think he realises that he's got to make sure that there's a little bit more strength to follow the leadership of Adrian Morley, who's been outstanding tonight.
Great offload then from Ewan Dowes. Washbrook escapes the clutches of two, can't get away from the next two, Gleeson and Johnson.
What a talent this youngster is, Danny Washbrook.
This King, oh, that was forward. Graham Horn is going over. Bridge is after him, but Horn gets there. I think that was a forward pass in the build-up to that, but it was not spotted by the referee or his touch judges, and Hull take full advantage. Graham Horn with the try, and Hull finish with a flourish.
Well, it looked forward as far as I'm concerned. That Paul King won't mind, and neither will Graham Horn, who showed tremendous speed. Just shows you the ability to just come onto the ball at the right time, even from the head on. Looking at the white lines, you'd think he was just a bit in front. Either way, won't affect the score line. It's a Warrington Wolves win tonight, but what an effort from this team in black and white.
And what an effort from Danny Tickle. 100% with the boot, Danny Tickle. 32-20. Warrington have won the match, but Hull will take a lot of heart, Phil, out of this.
Well, they will. I mean, the first thing that you expect from every team at this time of the season is that you're going to get 100% effort and commitment. We've seen that. I just think that try there was a great example. Very few players passed the ball before the line as well as Paul King. And it was great that even in the game, it's not going to affect the outcome of the match, that Graham Horn got over for a try. Great to see a front rower passing that short play just before he hits the defenders.
Referee stopped the clock a minute and 18 seconds from the end. 32-20. And Hull will come again. They will look for something extra from this match. 12-point margin. Warrington off to a winning start. Face a huge challenge next Friday night, of course. And they can't give as many penalties away as this against St Helens at Knowsley Road.
No, lack of discipline at times has really hurt them.
The Saints have been Warrington's Achilles heel throughout the Super League era, and next week they go to Knowsley Road at 7:30, and we will be there with them.
And Paul Cullen realises that they'll have to up the ante. A lot more harder work in the forwards, and their defensive pattern has to be sorted out. I think Terry Matteson just sort of summed it up a few moments ago when he said that perhaps Hull had put the cue on, Warrington had put the cue on the rack. They've got it wrapped up, I see, but there's still a lot of work to be done from this Warrington outfit.
There is indeed. There's the full-time siren. Chris Bridge will look to counter-attack, take the last tackle, and that's it. Warrington off to a winning start. But boy,